Morning, 6 a.m., Main Beach, Byron Bay. Our next elder that is going to come to this stage is an incredible human being. I was fortunate enough to record his story some years ago, and him reciting the story of his life. This incredible man is a living example of how ancient wisdom and the ancient ways are sustainable and can thrive, not only survive, the atrocities that the modern world put onto indigenous culture in this land. When I first came to Australia 10 years ago, I had no clue what really happened here. I had a vague idea, like in most indigenous, or like whereas in most indigenous cultures around the world, white men coming, neglecting and not validating and not recognizing and acknowledging the native culture. So I was aware of that, but I wasn't aware of the extent, and I wasn't aware of the stolen generation and what it meant. And after being here for some years and being exposed to the culture here on this land, I've come to know what the people of this land, the indigenous natives of this land, had to go through and are still going through in many ways. And after meeting Uncle Bob Randall, one of the custodians, traditional custodians and elders of Uluru, after meeting him, I was so inspired by the courage, by the compassion, by the wisdom, by what he calls and what is the traditional way, Kanyini, way of caring. And Uncle Bob will talk about it, I'm sure, himself, and will share. I was lucky enough to go with my family to Uncle Bob's home in Uluru a few weeks back. And it was incredible to see the amazing connection and the radiance that is coming forth from the heart of a man that is living on the land, that is giving him his courage, his spirit, his heart, his love. Please welcome Uncle Bob. I'll connect your guitar.
Am I on? Yeah. I'll put the guitar on. Yeah, if you got this, that'd be enough, I think. Thanks to the grandmothers for their presentation and the acknowledging the greatest energy we need to live with, love for each other. How do we practice that with the person next to you? Each one of us have partners, wives, children, mothers and fathers, those of us who are lucky to still have ours around. The trees you grow, the pets in your home, the horses in the paddock, the cows that live, those of you who have land, and the land itself. There are living entities who all love you. Remember that. Every single one of them love you, otherwise they wouldn't be here. we were the last ones as humans in our system to come. We were the ideal chosen ones to look after them all. Sometimes I believe we haven't done a very good job because we didn't listen to them. We ignored the trees, we ignored the creatures, we ignored the birds. For some reason we thought we had a right to kill them to meet our own greed, not even to meet our need. We went overboard. We overkilled. We over-destroyed, even destroying our own Mother Earth, just for greed, not for need. We need to question the way we live today, and really, each one of us, in our own way, where we are at, need to make a decision. Am I going to live for my greed, or am I going to live for my need? As I said yesterday, what we're here is caretakers on behalf of our children's children and their children. And that's being responsible for every living thing. In our system, there is a oneness of family. And it's being responsible for that family that will give us long life, joy, happiness. And the key of communicating that is through love, the energy of love. It is the only way to live. Get rid of the hate. Take in the love. Practice with your partner. And to the magic word we call from my nation, which we call Kanyini, which is love without condition. Don't set conditions with your loving, just love. Don't set conditions with your horses, with your cows, with the cats, with your dogs, with your human family, just love. That's all it needs to be. And maybe if we start within our own homes with each other, we could go out towards the community we live in, to our neighbours, to the people we meet, to our towns, to our cities, until we are out there in the world loving. It is so easy to live with love. Is that what you choose to do? It is, but it's no more stronger than hate. It's equally. You have to live it to experience it, and the more you live it and experience it, the more you'll find it's real. Every love you give out will come back tenfold. I've seen it, I've experienced it, I know it. It overtakes all the bitterness you might have in the moment of frustration and anger, regardless of what you've been through. My advice to all my younger people today is find love, think love, talk love, live love with your family, which is every living thing that lives with you wherever you choose to live. And I'd like to start this song session of mine, of the Kanyini principle, wave love to the wind. All the clouds are going by, way up there across the sky, and the wind keeps moving on. They all wave love to the wind. Wave, wave love to the wind of love is everywhere. All the birds are flying by from tree to tree. Pretty flowers everywhere, they all wave love to the wind. Wave, wave love to the wind of love is everywhere. the bees and butterflies are dancing there across the skies, and the wind keeps moving on. They all wave love to the wind. Wave, wave love to the wind. The wind of love is everywhere. Little children, you're so tired. Now it's time to go to sleep. Go to sleep and dream of love. Wake up waving love to the wind. Wave, wave love to the wind. The wind of love is everywhere. The wind of love is everywhere. Wave, wave love to the wind. The wind of love is everywhere. Wave, wave love to the wind. The wind of love is everywhere. And it reaches you too. I was born in a culture that really believed in caring and sharing. Having 4 mothers, I couldn't tell you which of them gave birth to me until I was about 6, 7 years of age. They all treated me as their son. And of course, when you have mothers, you have beautiful fathers, and they too. My sisters told me when I went back to our station in not far from Uluru, where I live today, and they said, you know, Brother Bob, your feet hardly ever touch the ground, because as soon as one couple parents would put you down, another one would pick you up. And every time you whimpered for something, whatever, you had a titty stuffed in your mouth. And wow, that's a beautiful experience, I reckon, for any child. So I probably was fat, overfed, and spoilt rotten. And you can, it's beautiful. That's what I like about Anangu children. You know, in our system, our parents can never be the teachers in case they reach a level of impatience where they look at you with hard eyes or talk to you with loud voices. So it's against Anangu Aboriginal law amongst my nation and many others. Parents are not to take up any positions that will lead them to be emotionally angry towards their children. They are not allowed to discipline in any way. The teachers in our way are the aunties, who are the sisters of my fathers. My sisters' fathers are my auntie. They have a right to teach me and teach me how to live right in society after I reach the age of 6. Up to that time, no one can tell me what I can and cannot do. And that's the same thing applies to every Anangu child in the nation of the Yankandara, Bindara, Aranda, Walpri, Pindabi, Nangatjara people, the desert culture of Central Australia. I am one of the caretakers, as well as my family, and have been for many thousands of years, of the very famous monolith Uluru. That's where my mother was born. That's where my many thousands of generations has looked after that area of land, Kartachuta and Uluru, and the land surrounding it, right up towards the border of Watahaka, Kings Canyon, where my other birth site is with the Pindaby, the Pindaby. So it's a huge area of land which takes in 2 cattle stations the size, 180 square miles in size. But the amazing thing, because of our conception and birth on those song lines, those story lines, we are totemically connected to every living tree, every living thing that is on that land. The trees are our family. Every kangaroo, emu, snake, birds, insect, grain of sand, to the smallest of rock, to the in-between rocks, to the mountains and the monolith and hills and the ranges of Wataka or Kings Canyon. They're our family. And we race like that with children. You cannot. You are taught that through these stories that are told to you. The land is your mother. So you'll notice with us who've had the experience of being taken away, we very rarely talk about fathers. We are mothers' children. And so mothers have a tremendous responsibility to raise each of their children right way. Every woman that is in front of me this morning, you are responsible for the wars. You are responsible for every family member that you raise. Meet that responsibility. Meet it with the love you need to give each one of your children, so they will not designed to beat each other up or beat a stranger up, but they can grow in with the love the plants are giving us, the love the kangaroos are giving us, the love the emus are giving us, the dingoes giving us, every other living thing. And let us extend that out, not to our family, but out to our totemic connection family, so that we can really grasp it. So this is what it's about, living on the earth plane. Because that responsibility is real. If you don't meet that responsibility, we are going to destroy this planet and each other. And this, you can see we're already heading down that pathway. But any one of us can stop hating and start loving in the next moment. That's your responsibility. And the mother's responsibility is so big, because they are the ones who influence their children and teach them in the way they raise the child how to love, how not to love, and teach them the true values in that first few years when they're in mother's care, the first 4 to 6 years of their life, of what is real value. And regardless of what can happen to a child, you don't have to stop loving. You can love. I just want to share another song with you, which I wrote, which talks about the separation of mother and child. But it doesn't stop you from loving. You can always go back to love and share the pain and go back over and over again. As long as you have life, you have a hope of loving. And mothers have proven that. The other family member that's responsible for our teaching is our grandparents. We call Jamu, the male, and the Kamiku, the female. And they're the only ones who can really discipline the child through teaching the right way to live, the right way to be a little boy, a good little boy, and a good little girl. The experience, what I wish to share with you in the song, is honoring the many mothers who had the experience of having their children taken away. And I start with the chorus in my mother's language. Waraju ka dengo Yahweh, Yahweh, my brown skin baby, they take him away. As a young preacher, I used to ride a quiet pony round the countryside in a native cab. I'll never forget a young black mother, her cheeks all wet. Yahweh, Yahweh, my brown skin baby, they take him away. Between her sobs I heard her say, police been taken my baby away from white man boss. That baby I have, why he let him take baby away. Yahweh, Yahweh, my brown skin baby, they take him away. To a children's home our baby came with new clothes on and a new name. Day and night he would always say, oh mommy, mommy, why they take me away. Yahweh, Yahweh, my brown skin baby, they take him away. The child grew up and had to go from a mission home that he loved so. To find his mother he tried in vain. Upon this earth they never met again. Yahweh, Yahweh, my brown skin baby, they take him away. Tiji apagaja ngayo poya kading oh. And living the life of love, it doesn't, stop you from communicating with those loved ones of yours who have gone on to the other world, through the death changing of life experience we refer to as death. Because that song was given to me when I was flying high in an aeroplane above Arnhem Land, when my mother sat on this empty chair beside me and just casually said, "Son, I got a song for you. You get them paper and you write them down." And I took notice of her. That's what I love about my culture, man. We never die and it's an end. It's the changing of into another form in our culture. The experience of dying is just another beautiful experience of undergoing changes from the physical to the spiritual. But the ability through love of communicating those barriers are so real. And most Indigenous people know that and live this way. I know my people do. So when I landed the aeroplane back in Darwin and I went to my house, where I had a number of visitors who had lived on the reservation in Arnhem Land, where a lot of our stolen generation kids were placed in institutions that was run by the Methodist Church. It just didn't mean anyone. I said, "Listen, come and listen to the song my mother gave me." And they all crowded around. My house had a number of guitars. And I just started to sing the song, which my mother had given to me on the plane. Love is eternal. And it's so beautiful to find that way of living, that you can communicate so readily with those of your loved ones who've passed on to the other place. Because what I found out through living the spiritual life and basing it on my foundation as let it be love, communicates through all worlds and all barriers. Just with the film Kanyini, those of you who have seen it, I just address, some of the little things, but there's so much more beauty. The Kanyini principle teaches my people. And even that word, Kanyini, means having unconditional love and self-responsibility for that love. That's what that word Kanyini means. And it gives you the responsibility of you are responsible for that. Only I can love to the level of love I want to love. Self-responsibility. Kanyini, the sense of caring to the limit there is no condition. Kanyini, love without condition, and be responsible for that love. It's a beautiful way to be raised by my people. And it's the same teaching as many other Indigenous cultures have with their great teachers. It's nothing new. It's so common. But the secret is to connect with it, you must live it. Don't pray all day about it. Don't meditation all day about it. It ain't going to work. Don't talk about it. Live it. It's the action that brings the reward of your personal experience. It's got to be actioned, actioned, actioned. Live it, live it, live it. And do it with every single person you meet in the moment. And don't be afraid to think it, don't be afraid to speak it. But you'll get great as a result if you live it. And as I mentioned at the start, we each have people we can practice on. All of us men who have our own partners, wives, we have us to practice on. See if you can reach the limit of loving your partner without condition, loving your husbands and wives without condition, and then extend that to your children. And let your children practice loving your parents without condition. And you know what love is, and you know what love isn't. We all know that. And for whatever reason, you may feel you're reaching a level of not loving so well, just go and talk to the trees about it, how they should love. They certainly know. Talk to the horses. Talk to the pets, the cats. Learn to listen to those who love you, that is living with you all the time, like the animals that live love every moment of their lives. Those of you who have animals know exactly what I mean. us kids didn't have our parents to teach us about life and how we should live when we were all institutionalized. All we had is missionaries who could teach you so much. They talked about love. They read us stories about love from the Jewish religion, the Jewish faith. But they had difficulty touching us because we were dark-skinned. So our mothers, when they used to say, "I love you," they hugged us, they touched us. They demonstrated love in action. And that was the difference. We knew what love was. And not touching someone you say you love. Well, you said it, but I don't think that's love as far as I'm concerned. And but the animals that we lived with, the native ones we caught and made pets of, like the ponies on the island, the dogs we caught, the dingoes, they taught us how to love. And you'll find that there are some people who will teach you how to love too. Beautiful people all over the world. My work today takes me to everywhere, every part of the world, and man, I see so many beautiful people living that love. It's not ours to own, but it's ours to share from our culture, and each one as individual have a right to share it. So practice with each other. Don't be afraid to say to each other, "I love you." This is a beautiful language song I want to talk about, sing next for you, and it's called Kulta Ngarake. I learned this as a boy up in Arnhem Land, and it's in language. Let's make love.
Gultangaragingara, gultangaragingara, golmakne, golmakne, tilchingorango. Gultangaragingara, gultangaragingara, golmakne, golmakne, tilchingorango. Breed, 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 breed. I like to dance, I like to sing, I want to be happy with everything. You like me, I like you, let us do what we want to do. Breed, 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 breed. Gultangaragingara, gultangaragingara, golmakne, golmakne, dilchingorango. Gultangaragingara, gultangaragingara, golmakne, golmakne, dilchingorango. This place down is hard to beat, ding and dance till you have sore feet. To the didgeridoo, go men go, clapstick beat and not too slow. Breed, 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 breed. Gultangaragingara, gultangaragingara, golmakne, golmakne, dilchingorango. Gultangaragingara, gultangaragingara, golmakne, golmakne, dilchingorango. Breed, 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 breed. Let's slow down for a while tonight. Let me hold you in my arms so tight. You make me happy, you make me glad. To say goodbye make me feel so sad. Breathe, 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 bread, 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 bread. Gultang araging ara, gultang araging ara, golmakne, golmakne, dilching orango. Gultang araging ara, gultang araging ara, golmakne, golmakne, dilching orango. Bread, bread, bread. Bread, 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 bread.
I'd like to do a song that's what I call a sing-along type of song, so that if you know it, you can sing along with me, this one. And it's Bob Randall's version of Waltz with Me, Matilda.
Once a jolly swagman camped on by a billabong under the shade of a curly bud tree, and he sang as he walked, and as he waited for his billy to boil. Hey Matilda, will you come and waltz with me? Waltz with me, Matilda. Waltz with me, Matilda. Hey Matilda, will you come and waltz with me? And he sang as he walked, and as he waited for his billy to boil. Hey Matilda, will you come and waltz with me? Down came a jumper just to drink at the billabong. Up jumped the swag man, and he grabbed it with glee. That little sheep it was, and he sang as he shoved the little jumbuck into his tuck-away. Hey Matilda, will you come and waltz with me? Waltz with me, Matilda. Waltz with me, Matilda. Hey Matilda, will you come and waltz with me? And he sang as he shoved that little jumbuck into his tuck-away. Hey Matilda, will you come and waltz with me? Down came the squatter. He was mounted on a thoroughbred. Down came the troopers, 1, 2, 3. Hey, where's that jolly jumper you might have there in your tuck-away? Hey Matilda, will you come and waltz with me? Waltz with me, Matilda. Waltz with me, Matilda. Hey Matilda, will you come and waltz with me? Hey, where's that jolly jumper you might have there in your tucker bag. Hey Matilda, will you come and waltz with me? Up jumped the swagman, and he leaped into that billabong. You'll never catch me alive, said he, and his ghost may be heard as you pass on by that billabong. Hey Matilda, will you come and waltz with me? Waltz with me, Matilda. Waltz with me, Matilda. Hey Matilda, will you come and waltz with me? And his ghost may be heard as you pass on by that billabong. Hey Matilda, hey Matilda, hey Matilda, hey Matilda, will you come and waltz with me? And I've got a number of songs, and I sort of sing songs I love into my own way of singing it. And it's always been a way to help me work the frustrations I had of being in an institution, because I had a Scottish father and an Aboriginal mother. And one of the interesting things I found 10 years ago was the policeman's record, why he picked me up on our cattle station. You know, there was a government legislation out for them to pick up any half-caste kids they found on these stations, and most of us were created through love. The love of a white man, love for a black woman, and a black woman's love for that white man. And it can overcome all barriers, skin colours, race. And so there is that real that happened, you know, and I got a cut in there, and it's a shame because that love is real. But the system had a legal law out, cohabitation, and that wasn't allowed for a black man to have a relationship with a white woman, or vice versa. I don't know if other countries had that same law, but we definitely had it in Australia. That's why so many of us half-caste kids were institutionalised and encouraged to learn only white ways and forget our ancient cultural ways, which is so important. But thank goodness, but I've gone home now, and my children are visiting me, my grandchildren and great-grandchildren are visiting me, and they're in an opportunity where they can listen to the stories on their own land, the traditional land of their forefathers, and learn about their culture, the old ways. And we run our programs from April to September every year at Uluru, where my people teach people to survive through the art forms, through listening to the way we lived in the olden days, and sing the songs and learn the dances and the artwork that has been modernized in a lot of ways. So I'll just sing this last little song, because our journey, all of us, is a spiritual journey, not only the physical. Remember, there's another side of you which is totally spiritual.
And that's the side that's going to live eternally. So that's the one you've got to really watch. How you live today in your spiritual side of you. The physical will die. It will go back to where it belongs, to Mother Earth. But your spiritual will go on eternally. Because that's the way it is. And we all got to find the spiritual path and follow it. At times I can remember happening so long ago in my early childhood, and my going to be a man. There were times of sorrows, there were times of joys, but we still keep going on to the end of life's trail. Life is one long road now of footprints I can see. Those who walk beside me must look down the signs to see. Then hand in hand together, the signs will follow on till we reach another hill and see the trail lead on. The trail may lead through sorrows, the trail may lead through joys. As we walk together, these things we'll always share. The strength from one another will help us both go on till we reach another hill and see life's trail lead on. Blacks and whites together must live upon our land. Can listen to each other so we can understand that difference and things common need not a barrier be. We'll walk life's trail together and see life's trail lead on. We'll walk life's trail together and see life's trail lead on. Think love, talk love, live love. Thank you. I love you.
Uncle Bob Randall. Songman, Uncle Bob Randall. Well, our next treat for this incredible afternoon is a very unique human being, and I